Welcome back to another edition of the Futbol Forever podcast, a podcast where we talk about the Liga MX and everything going on around Mexican football. Oh man, it's been a while. I know, man. It's been a little bit. It's been a minute. I took a break from recording the podcast for a little while. Still have been active on YouTube, recording the Chucky Lozano My Player series on FIFA 19, but from the podcast, yeah, man, we took a little break, but we're back when it matters the most, the Liguilla, man. We're here at the end of the season, and we're already into it, man. You have the four results from the Querétaro versus Cruz Azul, from the América, or the Toluca versus América, from the Monterrey versus Santos, and from the Tigres versus Pumas, man. The results are in. And we have seen some good football, baby. We've seen some good football, some golazos. How about that Funes Mori goal? Oh, what a chilena. What a goal. And Rayados has the lead, has a slight lead. Slight advantage over Santos going into leg number 2. And what about that Alexis Vega goal, baby? Oh, my goodness. What a golazo from the young Mexican striker. And Toluca draws very late into the match, 2-2 with Club América. So, good stuff, man, that we've seen, that we've witnessed here in the Liguilla. I think the least entertaining match was probably the Querétaro versus Cruz Azul, where Cruz Azul dominated from start to end, didn't really let Gallos Blancos get anything going whatsoever. In my opinion, an easy 2-0 win for La Máquina. And that series is looking like it's a wrap. But anyway, instead of just, talking about each game here and there, let's go ahead and dive right into it. And I'll try to cover every game, but, I need to go to work in a few minutes. So, we might not have time to cover everything. So let's stop wasting time. How about that? So anyway, the one that's fresh, right fresh off my brain, off my mind, is the Toluca versus América. So we'll start with that one. What a game, man. What a game that game was. That sounds kind of weird. But it was such an entertaining match, at least in the first half. It was so entertaining, man. I mean, both teams trading blows, trading goals. Before the 30th minute mark, we already had 3 goals in the match. And it's been the same story all season long for Club América, man. The same story of their center backs getting it done in the scoring department. And Manuel Aguilera would find the back of the net in the 8th minute of action. He's a center back. Last week, he also found the back of the net against Veracruz with a free kick golazo. But the América center backs getting it done, man, in the scoring department. Aguilera and Bruno Valdez have combined for 9 goals this season, 4 goals apiece. Roger Martinez and Oribe Peralta, on the other hand, the 2 strikers, have combined for 8 goals in the season. I think 3 for Roger Martinez and 5 for Oribe. So Bruno and Emmanuel Aguilera have more goals than the América strikers, which if you're an América fan, I guess you'll take it, but you would probably like to see your strikers score a little bit more goals, especially Roger Martinez, since the heavy investment was on him in the offseason. But man, how about that intensity, man? How about the intensity of the first half? I mean, it was through the roof. Again, like I said, both teams trading blows, and América had the 3-1. If you remember, Oribe Peralta had a one-on-one duel versus Talavera, but Oribe is no longer a great finisher at this point in his career. He missed, and you think about it, and it's like in situations like these where a goal can define a series. It would have been 3-1 in favor of América. I mean, sure, there was still a lot of time left. It was still the first half, so Toluca might have climbed out of that one. But, in situations like that, where you could put your team up 3-1, that's where América needs or could really use a real killer striker, man. A Julio Furch. Hey, we've heard those rumors. Or a Boselli. Boselli, who is no longer going to be with Club Leon, or at least, I think he has 6 months left in his contract, but it's not looking pretty, man. The relationship between Boselli and Club Leon, pretty sad because, he's a club legend and all. But, America could really use a striker like that. Not saying it has to be specifically one of those two, but a striker that really knows to put it away, man. You give him an opportunity, he's going to punish you. And that's no longer Oribe Peralta, unfortunately. At this point in his career, he's kind of lost that element of his game. He's still a good player. He still has a ton of sacrifice and all that, but the finishing, the finishing department is lacking a little bit more in Oribe Peralta these days. So, anyway, the first half, very good. Tons of intensity. 3 goals in the match. I mean, what else could you ask for, right? Tons of action in the first half. The second half was pretty much the polar opposite of the first, man. Because, really, there was only one team willing to play. And, I understand that Toluca was the one that was going to play with more urgency, right? Because they were down 2-1 at home. That's understandable. But the way America played that second half, not a good look, man. I mean, America and Miguel Herrera's game plan for the second half was just absolutely pitiful, man. Like 90% of the second half, and then these aren't, cold, hard facts or accurate statistics. I'm just exaggerating. 90% of the second half was played in the Club America territory, man. And America, I understand, they tried to hurt Toluca on the counterattack, but they didn't even have the correct players on the field to achieve this. You look to the bench and you see Renato Ibarra right there, your fastest player, the player that could lead a counterattack and really do damage. He was sitting on the bench. So you're trying to get a counterattack going with Lainez and with Roger Martinez, and they were just not looking good in that second half, man. America was really, really struggling to keep possession. Achieving 3 passes almost seemed impossible for Club America. And, I guess you got to credit the pressure that Toluca was putting on them. But there, without a doubt, Miguel Herrera's game plan for the second half was, hey, let's sit back. Let's absorb the pressure and let's try to hit him on the counter. And that's just not a style that America dominates. Especially not without the player that you need to run these counterattacks, which is Renato Ibarra, in my opinion. He was sitting on the bench. So you kind of have the wrong personnel in there. And you want to execute this game plan, and it was just not very good. I mean, think about one good counterattack for Club America in the second half. It didn't happen. I mean, Talavera really didn't have much work to do. And I want to say neither did Marchesín. Although Toluca had the ball and, they were the ones trying to push the action, they didn't force Marchesín to make, great saves like they might have in the first half. I mean, that save from Marchesín and that free kick from Sambuesa was a thing of beauty, man. What a save from Marchesín. But in the second half, you didn't have Marchesín with a ton of trouble, with a ton of work. So just poor game plan. America looked terrible in the second half. And I mean, they almost got away with it. America almost walked out of there with a lead heading into leg number 2. But in the 95th minute, because the ref added 6 minutes of injury time, which is, I thought it was a little excessive, but, for Miguel Herrera to make that up or to take that as an excuse is, you got it all wrong there, mate. You got it all wrong. But anyway, in the 95th minute, Alexis Vegas' goal, man, was something else. I mean, he receives the ball at the top of the box from a rebound. He cuts left. 3 America defenders bite on that little fake shot. And then the finish. That right-footed finish, curling it around Marchesina's reach. Oh, that was just beautiful, man. Disgusting. Disgusting from Alexis Vega. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But, again, you can't play a second half like America played it. And then complain about the 6 minutes of added injury time like Herrera did in the post-game press conference. Yeah, you can't do that. So, a deserved draw, I think we could all say. I think we could all agree. A deserved draw for Toluca, a 2-2 draw, and leg number 2 is going to be fire, man. It's going to be so interesting. I still think that America is going to go through. I still think that America's got in the bag. This is still a good result for Club America. I mean, you would probably imagine that they would have signed the 2-2 draw if they told them, "Hey, man, this will be the final score. Do you want it or do you not?" I think they would have signed that. It's still a good result. You got 2 away goals. I think it's still a decent result. Now it feels like you lost because you were up on the scoreboard 2-1 in the 95th minute. But it's still a decent result for Club America. So anyways, man, let's go ahead and jump into the Querétaro versus Cruz Azul leg 1 match. And this one, I'll just go through it briefly, man. I was excited to see Querétaro make it into the Liguilla, man. I really was for Rafa Puente Jr., a young Mexican manager with good ideas, man, with fresh ideas, with a attacking mentality that he tries to get his team to play. But in this match, nothing worked, man. Nothing worked. Cruz Azul was just too good for them. They were outclassed, straight up. Outclassed by Cruz Azul. The gap between the number 1 of the league, which was Cruz Azul, and the number 8 of the league, which was Querétaro, was very, very marked. Was quite marked here in this match, man. You could tell. You could just tell Cruz Azul was the better team. And, kudos to Cruz Azul for making that look obvious. Because that doesn't always happen in Liga MX. You can have a team, like America, like Cruz Azul play, I don't know, Veracruz or Atlas sometimes, with all due respect to those teams, but they didn't have the best of seasons. And that distance between each roster, the quality of roster and their position in the league table won't be very obvious. Here, Cruz Azul made it very obvious that they were better than Querétaro. So, they just made it look easy. The match was played at their tempo. They had full control of the match, I feel like, at all times. And they practically just neutralized Querétaro and their main offensive weapon in Camilo Zambeso. They made it look easy. What a game, and what a game for Roberto Alvarado. Without a doubt, one of Mexico's top talents, man. For the future and in the present, too. He almost scored a golazo, but his shot bounced off the post and eventually led into Cruz Azul's second goal. And honestly, there's not much to say about this match or about this series. I think it's done. I'm sorry, Querétaro fans, if you're listening. I'm sorry, but I just don't see how this team can climb out of this hole. I don't see it. Cruz Azul at home is practically unbeatable. They are undefeated. I think, yeah, they are, for sure. They're undefeated in the Azteca. So to go in there, beat them 3-0, yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. I mean, it's impossible as nothing, we all know, in this beautiful sport. But that's looking very, very tough, man. So, yeah, man, Cruz Azul walks out of there with a 2-0 victory. And again, I think leg 2 will be, I don't want to say comfortable, man, because it is the Liguilla, it is the playoffs. So, anything can happen, but I don't see it, man. I don't see how Querétaro can really climb out of this one. Cruz Azul is just better. This is they're at another level from Querétaro. Cruz Azul's real test is gonna be against the Club Americas, the Santos, the Monterreys, whoever, depending on who makes it out of each series, each bracket, right? Tigres looking good, come from behind win, but here against Querétaro, they I think they have everything under control. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the Monterrey versus Santos leg 1. Oh man, what a golazo from Funes Mori, man. Hey, Funes Mori appears to be waking up, man. Avilés Hurtado is still, I think, nowhere to be found for Rayados, but Funes Mori, the goals that he scored in his last 2 matches have been on another level. Like, they've been from somewhere else. He embarrassed Omar Gonzalez in the last match of the season against Atlas. Nutmegs him, cuts inside, finishes. And then here against Santos in leg 1 with that chilena, which it seemed like when the cross came in, it seemed like a header would have been easier. But the dude said, nah, that's not what I have in mind. Here, let me show you. So he recedes with his chest, sets it up beautifully, because he did it in the blink of an eye. Usually when you see attackers attempt a chilena inside the box, because it was very close to the goal. It wasn't like one of those Raúl Jiménez chilenas that was, from some distance. Here he was very close to the goal. So usually when you see attackers try to, do that, there's 3 defenders right there to say nah. And this time, there was some defenders in the area, but he just did it so fast. He set himself up for that chilena so fast that they could do nothing to stop it or to even pester him. It was a clean chilena, man. Clean. And I'm glad it went in, not because I want Santos to lose or anything, but you love to see stuff like that in football. Or like Alexis Vegas' goal. You love to see that. Like a stroke of genius, a moment of brilliance. You gotta love it. So, anyway, aside from the Funes Mori goal, man, the game was pretty good. And in the first half, before the 30-minute mark, you already had both teams with at least, 2 good chances on goal. The game had some nice pace to it. Both of these teams have very, very dangerous attacks, man. Santos with the Liga MX's best duo in Julio Furch and Jonathan Rodriguez. Both of them had good opportunities, but both missed the mark. I think you had Julio Furch missing first. Jonathan Rodriguez set up Julio Furch, and he sent his shot over the crossbar. And then later in the first half, it was Julio Furch who was setting up Jonathan Rodriguez with a beautiful back heel pass. Beautiful from Julio Furch. You love to see it. He sets up Rodriguez, and he missed. So Santos had their opportunities, but it was Monterrey who was more efficient with their chances, because they had their chances for sure. And it was Funes Mori himself in the first half who was creating that danger for the Santos backline. He got pulled by the Santos center backs a few times. They were wanting penalties, but yeah, Funes Mori was already causing trouble for them in the first half. So, anyways, man, in summary, you have Santos or Monterrey defeating Santos 1-0, and it's a wide open series. This is not over by any stretch of the imagination, because Santos at home, like Cruz Azul, is very, very tough to beat. Are they undefeated this season? I can't remember. I think they are. So, I mean, this series, yeah, it's still wide open, like the Toluca versus America series, and like the Tigres versus Pumas one too. The thing is, let's go ahead and jump into that one. The Tigres versus Pumas. You have Tigres, a come from behind win, 2-1 at home, and good stuff from Tigres. I mean, Tigres, I think the result was deserved, because after the Pumas goal, as expected, Tigres full-on attack. They really were looking for that equalizer and then some. They eventually found it kind of late into the match, but Tigres went out there and looked for it, which you like to see from Tuca. So I think this series, even though Tigres is leading 2-1, they gotta go visit Pumas. Pumas isn't great at home. They're not as bad as Chivas at home. No offense, and my apologies to Chivas fans. But Pumas isn't super strong at home. So even though Tigres has to go and be on the road, and I know the capital for the Regios, for Monterrey and for Tigres, and the capital just doesn't sit well with them. They don't play very, very well in the capital. But I still think that Tigres has a good chance of going in there in Seúl, visiting Pumas and doing something, man. My prediction for this series, for the team getting out of the series, is Tigres. Sorry, Pumas fans. I just, before the, kickoff and all that, I still felt like Tigres, they are the better team. But, Pumas shouldn't feel bad. Tigres has a better roster than almost anyone in the league. I think they have the best roster in the league. Other teams are close. You have Cruz Azul, you have America, Rayados. But I think Tigres still has the best roster. Man for man, I think they're the ones with the best talent. If we go ahead and review their last, 6 results, including this, last night's match against Pumas, their last 6 results, you have no losses. 0 losses. Their last loss was to America at home on October 6th. But after that, they took care of business. You have a 3-3 draw against Pumas, a 2-2 draw against Lobos Buap, a 2-0 victory over Morelia on the road, a 6-1 victory over Puebla, a 1-0 victory over Chivas, and then last night's 2-1 victory over Pumas. So a ton of victories. They haven't lost in 6 matches, and the team, I think, is now really, really hitting their stride, and that's what they always do. Tigres knows exactly when to turn it up. They clutch up at the end of the season, and they arrive to the Liguilla in form, and I think that's what happened again, and it should be a surprise to no one. Tigres has been doing this for quite some time now. I think that's how Tuca likes it or something. They like to make it interesting early in the season, losing a game here and there. Mid-season, still not in great form for the roster they have. But at the end of the season, that's when they really, really turn it on and say, all right, it's time. It's time. Gignac turns it on, of course. Mr. Liguilla himself. He wins the Liga MX's top goal scoring award. Congrats to Mr. Gignac. And they also have, a manager with all the experience in the world in Tuca Ferretti. So I think if I have to predict who will get out of this one, I think it's going to be Tigres. Now, I honestly would not mind at all seeing Pumas, advance to the semis. I think it would be a breath of fresh air, Not saying that I don't want Tigres to make it, but I think it'd be a breath of fresh air. Seeing Pumas in a semifinal of a Liguilla. That would be nice because Tigres has been there plenty of times in recent history. They've won a ton of finals in recent history. So seeing Pumas there, it'd be a new face. It'd be refreshing, I guess you can say. But I think Tigres is going to come out of this one. Who knows though? Who knows? It's going to be a tough visit for sure. Although I don't think Pumas is great at home, I think several factors will combine. They will play on Sunday, noon, 12 o'clock, Central Standard Time there in Mexico City. And it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough playing in Seúl in that atmosphere. So anyway, man, that's pretty much it, man. That's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed the podcast. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any comments. If you're listening on YouTube, you can leave them in the comment section down below. If you're not, if you're on SoundCloud, if you're on iTunes, hit me up on Twitter, baby. Hit me up on Twitter. I'll get back to you for sure. If you're not following me on Twitter, you can do it at Futbol_forever. Anyway, hey man, good stuff for the first couple of matches here in the Liguilla. I thought we saw some good football, some great football, some amazing goals, and some drama. You have managers pissed off with VAR, with the refereeing. You had I think it was Salvador Reyes from Santos. He was upset. You had Piojo Herrera. I think Cristante also complained about the refereeing. I mean, they always do that. Anyway, we'll see what happens in leg 2. Definitely looking forward to those matches. I'm sure they won't disappoint. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Futbol Forever out.